Hi, and welcome to Bob Akmens Sports, America's #1 top sports handicapper since 1978. This is the second part of 3 parts of our basketball betting tips video. In this second part, I'll explore my first-hand experience of looking into the mind of the pro athlete. And we'll all learn something by listening to the bitingly accurate commentary of Sir Charles Barkley. And then watch part 3 as well, where we'll find out, via some more Barkleyisms, why the NBA game has deteriorated rapidly compared to its glory days. And we'll also talk about betting the women's game, the WNBA. Now again, I'll leave these headphones where they are instead of putting them on, so that I don't look like Jenny at Time Life Books taking your phone order. If you haven't watched part 1, please do so after viewing this part as well. In part 1 of this video, I offer my views as to why betting college hoops is so different from betting any other sport, and why betting lots of totals is poisonous behavior to most bookies. I've been a professional handicapper a long time. I've known pro athletes for many, many years. I used to live in one of Manhattan's great singles buildings on the corner of East 65th Street and 1st Avenue. And around the corner, the prototype of all sports singles bars was first born, Mr. Laughs. On the other corner was the original Maxwell's Plum. I was probably in one or the other almost every night. Laughs was owned by jocks and frequented by jocks, and guys who wanted to be like these jocks, and girls who wanted to be with these jocks. But what was nice for me is that I was young, made great money, and wasn't bad looking, so I was very happy to get whatever those jocks left behind. And I got to see close up how these guys think and act. Even Joe Willie Namath used to come by at times. I wasn't particularly impressed by any of these guys. Not that I ever really idolized any ball player anywhere, anytime, even as a kid. So in those great days of my youth, I learned that like actors on a stage, most ball players constantly yearn for adulation. When they get it, they sometimes perform superhuman feats. When they don't, they very often don't do that. Of all the commentary about the NBA I've ever heard in all my years in this business, one remark always sticks out. I can never ignore it, and neither should you ever ignore it. Charles Barkley, a loudmouth to be sure, but one heck of a basketball player, at 6'6", snatching boards from guys much taller than himself. Nicknamed the Round Mound by some because he liked his food, Sir Charles led the NBA for 3 straight years in offensive boards, and that, folks, is very hard to do at 6'6". I'm 3 inches shorter and know about these things. I had both shoulders dislocated several times going up or coming down with a rebound when someone decided to stretch my body a little. But back to Sir Charles's pithy comment that will forever stick with me. It must have been in one of his last years in the NBA just before the playoffs. This would be the late 90s when he was with the Rockets. He had a great game, and the network trotted out one of those pieces of eye candy they use to interview players. She came up to his chest, in height, and shoved the mic up into his face, and said something like this: "Charles, you came up big today. How do you think the Rockets will do in the playoffs?" And Barkley smiled that huge grin of his and replied something like this: "You know, we guys in this league don't really give a crap about these regular season games from day to day. We only look forward to the playoffs because we all want to be champions. So I imagine all of us will play real hard in the games coming up." So what does that revelation tell you? Just what I knew to be true, but which must have shocked many fans hearing it. Which realize is short for fanatics. And since so many fans delude themselves by thinking these players are perpetual heroes, I thought I'd quote a popular source for the word origin from Wikipedia. Quote, "Fan emerged as an Americanism around 1889. Many assume that it's a shortened version of the word fanatic, and the word did first become popular in reference to an enthusiastic follower of a baseball team. Fanatic itself, introduced into English around 1525, means insane person. It comes from the modern Latin fanaticus, meaning, literally, insanely but divinely inspired. Sure sums it up in my book. Here's the essence of what Barkley so adroitly revealed in that one statement. Always, always take every single run-of-the-mill NBA game with a grain of salt as to its purported meaning and importance. Never ever assume one team will be up and the other team will be down. I've seen games where divisional rivals won by 40 or 50 points one night at home, and then lost by 30 or 40 points a day or two later to that very same opponent at the other guy's court. Don't assume that revenge games play some sort of huge role in the lives of these guys. Now, on that note, we'll close out part 2 of this video. Please watch part 3, where we'll find out, through some more Barkleyisms, why the NBA game has gone to seed compared to its glory days. And we'll talk about betting the intriguing women's game, the WNBA, and how those players compare to the men of the NBA. And if you've missed part 1, please take a look at that, because we cover these topics. Why betting college hoops is so different from betting any other sport, and why betting lots of totals is poisonous behavior to most bookies. Thanks for your time, and make sure you watch all 3 parts of this video, which, if you follow its advice, will make you money. So for the time being, Bob Akmens signing out for now.